encapsulates the kind of books they are. So do you ever factor in who coached somebody? Do you ever say, okay, I better be careful not to take this player because coach might have made them look a little better than they really are, or vice versa?
We probably don't say coach, but maybe the program
There you
that
go.
they come from. I think that most pro coaches in the WNBA would talk about the readiness of, for example, University of Connecticut players that come into the league. They're ready, both offensively and defensively. They've been held to, from an accountability to a level that helps to prepare them, exist in our league. So, and then there are also programs that will be on the flip side of that you say, players from this program might take a little longer. They haven't been exposed to this or to that. That absolutely happens. Sometimes the separator would be if you have two players, you are going to favor the one, that comes from the program that does a little bit better job preparing them.
Do you need your first round pick to start right away?
Not start. I hope not, in that, I feel like we have a pretty strong group, even with the absence of Maya. If Karima is healthy, there's no reason to believe that she wouldn't start there. So I'm open to it. I will say that, if the player, depending on the position, if they're able to come in here and prove that they can start, I'm open to that for sure. This is a different place for us. The number 6 draft pick is going to be a good player. That's going to be good for a long time in this league.
So is your starting 5 right now what we saw on a recent day on your practice court?
We don't have the post presence right now other than Syl. Mm-hmm. And so, what you saw today was Danielle, Alexis, Simone, Karima. So it is likely that Alexis is not going to be a starter. So Karima would be a small forward, and we're open at the power forward, depending on what direction that goes. We think that Dantas probably has a leg up on the other. She's been here. She's been a really good player overseas, and I think she's ready for that. That's the reason why she decided to sign with us.
Right. I'm going to throw something at you. WrestleMania 35. The headliner, or the header, I guess they call it, would be Ronda Rousey against Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. It'll be the event's first women's main event. And I don't know how to feel about that because I'm generally not in favor of people kicking the crud out of each other. So is that a good thing for women's sports, or is it a bad thing for society that we're still letting people punch each other in the face?
Well, I guess I'll skip that part, but obviously it's in some way it's a sport, but of course it is progress, to have women be the main event. It's like everywhere you turn, you see more and more of these firsts, and whether it's, the NBA 2K, including, the WNBA, all of these things matter when it comes to sort of normalizing. So, the societal norms and what we think of in men's sports, to now have women in those places, it only serves to help move women in sport further. And so I think that, that is a positive thing, despite what exactly is going to go on during that match.
And what did you think of the coverage of the women's tournament? We're only halfway through it or something at this point, but how have you felt about it?
Well, the same way we feel every year, and there's a lot of people on social media talking about this. The same frustration exists, which is the coverage isn't the same as it is for the men's tournament, in that you can't enjoy a game. There's this whip around coverage. Mm-hmm. And ESPN has been a tremendous partner. You see when they televise, whether it's women's softball, the growth in women's softball, volleyball, hockey, whatever it is, whatever is going to be on, it's going to grow in interest, right? That's what happens. That's the power that media has. And I think for ESPN, when you have so many networks at your disposal, that it sure seems like if you were going to do it, women's basketball is a big thing. It's March Madness. And it just feels like that they would have the ability, like they did last night. They had a game on ESPN. They had a game on ESPN2. Use ESPNU, use ESPN News, and give us the full game. And I just feel like we're there. If you look at, there's growth opportunities as you move along in sport, right? You want to capitalize on those growth opportunities. We have seen that there is interest in women's basketball. And it seems like we are just always behind that interest. Get ahead of it. and make it good business. The ratings are there. And, I didn't say that it's greater than the men's tournament, but it's much greater than what I think that ESPN gives it credit for. Those that work, at ESPN work tirelessly, whether it's Lobo, Maria Taylor, Holly Rowe, all of those people that give all that they have. It's not an indictment of them, because obviously they would want every game on. They would want to give us their very best. A game ends last night, and right away, you don't get to hear about an analysis of the game. It's gone right away into something else, and it just feels like it's time for us to do better.
I have a thought on that. Do want to thank Bite Squad. Bite Squad's been a great partner for the network and this show. Go to bitesquad.com, download the Bite Squad app. They have a new deal membership program for $5.99 a month. You get free deliveries from restaurants within a 4-mile radius. Through our network, you can use the promo code TALKNORTH. You get your first delivery fee waived. But, that's a one-shot deal. We would like you to support Bite Squad because they support us, so order more often than that. And, you can order it to your office for lunch. You can order pizza, and it'll arrive perfect. You can do breakfast in bed. You can do it so you don't have to do dishes, so you don't have to drive, so you don't have to park, so you don't have to pay for parking, so you don't have to wait in line. They just make it so easy. And, again, they've been very good to us. The delivery code is TALKNORTH for the first time, but keep using it. We would appreciate it. The thing about the men's tournament is, and I've been pointing this out for years, the men's tournament is not popular because it's always great basketball. It's not. There's a lot of mediocre basketball. There are a lot of blowouts. There are a lot of games that are really unwatchable. There are a lot of teams and matchups that you wouldn't even think about flipping on if the date was December 11th or something like that. It's successful because they have marketed it so well. Because everybody fills out a bracket, and once you fill out a bracket, you're invested, and you're going to watch Iona against Middle Tennessee State.
That's right.
And that can happen for women, too.
It can, and I think I said this at the live show. We need Warren Buffett to do for the women's game, as he's done for the men's game, $1 million for the perfect bracket, because that'll make you watch. One, it'll make you fill out a bracket. Right. And two, like you said, once you fill it out, then you become more interested, more vested in it. And men's sports have been around longer than women's sports, so there's not going to be this immediate equality. It's just there are moments when I just feel like we're missing chances to grow it because it's just easier for the decision makers just kind of say, well, no one's watching. And it's not true. And especially with ESPN, they know that the ratings are there. And each time they do something and really get behind it, it goes very well. And so, to your point, they've marketed the men's tournament. And so it stands to reason that, ESPN, the power that it has, the leverage that it has, could do the same thing if they wanted to for the women's tournament.
I know I do a lot of non sequiturs on this show because we try to get to your team, WNBA, women's college basketball, women's sports in general, social issues. So I know I get a little disjointed and throw different stuff at you. I'm going to do it again now. It just popped in my head. I was in spring training with the Twins, and Hugh McCutcheon walks through the clubhouse, who coaches the volleyball team at the university. Very successful coach, very successful program. And it did strike me that I know you also met with, because they're looking for, I give them credit, they look down all avenues. Mm-hmm. And I talked with Hugh briefly as he walked through, and they wanted us to talk to him about building a team, culture. I'm guessing they're the same conversations with you. Yeah,
that was incredibly flattering to go over and spend some time with them. Talk to their staff, and just how genuine in the support. It wasn't some sort of gimmick. It was they, like you said, are very interested in hearing the reasons for success. In all different sports and. Obviously Hugh, being really successful, and they did the same thing. Invited me down to spring training. I didn't get a chance to do that part of it, but it just felt organic and it felt real. And you really pull for them to be successful because they do. They're humble and they're looking for ways for their franchise to be champions. It's not easy, especially in Major League Baseball, in free agency and that sort of thing. But it's a franchise I have a lot of respect for.
Yeah, and listen, they're going to be judged on their results, and if you follow the Twins on social media, most of the conversations are about how much money they will pull out spend or why won't they do this. And I will say that I like them. I do think they're genuine. I think they're very thoughtful. I think they're looking for all kinds of different avenues to succeed. But winning and losing is always it's hard. It's you can do everything right, and it still might not happen for you. That's just the business. Let's do one more topic today. Again, thanks to everybody who listens. Please support the Poorhouse. We will get you the date of the next live show as soon as we can. On International Women's Day, I saw an advertisement, I'm sure you saw it too, where it was just a camera shot of women repeating what they had been told about why they couldn't do the job or wouldn't do the job well or weren't going to be given the chance to do the job. And it was really powerful. And I just wanted to give you a chance to talk about it.
Oh, it was an incredible commercial. I know that I clicked on that link and I just sat there and I thought, this is what women face. We know this. We know when you get women together at a networking event or wherever we are in our safe place to be able to talk about all that we go through, take those stories and multiply them by hundreds of thousands of women that have been told some reason as to why they weren't going to be successful. Some are pretty heartbreaking, that it could be an appearance, it could be, too aggressive, the number of things that women are told why they can't achieve this level of success. Until you're a woman that goes through it, it's really difficult to understand. Many men think it doesn't happen. All these things that are told, they might be able to watch that and go, well, that doesn't happen in my company. Yes, it does. It happens all the time. And it's just so unfortunate. But what I love about women is, what did those women do? They persisted, and they became, in the C-suite. They achieved the highest levels of the areas that they worked in. And so that's the amazing thing, despite the many ways that we hold back women, we persist and we succeed anyway. And that's what I say about women's sports. Despite the near media blackout, what are we doing? We're driving on, and we're going to be successful anyway. That commercial was the epitome of that.
Yeah, and let's face it, we see it, and I try not to be overtly political on this show, but you see it in politics. You see if you immediately see a woman attacked for being too something. It's always too something, too aggressive, too blunt, too whatever. I mean, and a lot of adjectives that I won't use because they're just blatantly insulting. And then you'll see the male candidate, and you go, "Hold it, we're saying that about the women?"
Right.
It's just so plain, and that's why I'm. But you know what? We're at a point of the show where I better stop talking.
We need leaders. So how do you change that? And it's leadership. It happens at the highest levels. And obviously the highest level of leadership in our country is in the White House. And so whether it's there or CEOs of companies, just being aware, that this is an issue. Many, many men aren't aware and don't care, frankly. And so leadership is those people at the highest levels recognizing all people, not just women, all people, in the ways that we're treating one another. And like I said, for me, it was heartbreaking to watch that. But then by the time I got to the end, I felt very empowered and very proud of women for the way that we persist.
And what's going to be fascinating, let's face it, as Minnesotans, is how Amy Klobuchar is painted by the national media. And by the way, I'm of the media. I am part of the media. I love a lot of the people I work with and around. But good Lord, the national media is driving me absolutely crazy right now. And a lot of people who should be better, some really high-profile people, are just screwing up left and right. And I just thought that, blasting Amy Klobuchar for being tough on assistants. I mean, I understand that might be. I'm not even saying it's not a legitimate story or that it didn't happen. I'm just saying, would you write that about a man?
We don't. We simply don't. No. As soon as a woman announces her candidacy, that's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
We go to those places. Was she too hard? Did she talk to you this way? Or are you just looking at appearance? Is she likable?
Right.
And you judge by, just in ways that we don't judge men by. And, and women do it too.
Yeah.
So we're not, this is not just point our fingers in one direction. But it's, we're conditioned for that when it comes to the way that we evaluate a woman's ability to lead.
Right. And I just hope that the next election is about issues, real issues, and issues that affect the average American. And if that's the case, we'll end up